90 minutes of the scariest ghost videos. Sylvia Marie Likens was an American teenager who was tortured and murdered by her caregiver in the basement of a house back in the 1960s. In June of 2008, YouTube user Carlos Coy135 visited the house and recorded a walk-around video while he was there. Watch this carefully.
Walk around it. Hey, don't say nothing stupid. I ain't gonna say nothing. You're like close up. This is a freaky ass house. I know, go on the porch. This is where that little girl was tortured and raped and killed during the 60s. She wasn't raped. She wasn't raped, but she was tortured. This is a weird ass house. What up, Columbia? Does that top work? What was the basement? Like right over? This is the basement where the little girl was tortured. Dude, come here. This is freaky. As you can see, this is what the basement looked like. That's
oh hell no, there's a picture of the stairs too.
Dude, I ain't fucking.
There's a picture of the stairs.
You got a fucking. Swear to God.
Some viewers in the past have suggested that they can hear someone faintly screaming, yelling out for help throughout this video. While recording down into the basement, you can almost hear what sounds like someone saying the words, "Can you help me? Help."
Dude, I ain't fucking.
There's a picture of the stairs.
You got a fucking. Dude, I ain't fucking.
There's a picture of the stairs.
You got a fucking.
Viewers of this video have suggested that this is quite possibly the spirit of Sylvia still screaming out for help all these years later. In addition to the phantom voices and screaming, viewers have also noticed that there appears to be someone upstairs in the room to the left, as the blinds seem to move not once but twice near the beginning of the video. Once a bustling community to hundreds of shipyard workers, Clune Park Estate in Port Glasgow is now virtually deserted. There are 430 empty flats, one primary school, a church, and a couple of old shops. TikTok user Scared to Death Zero travelled out to the abandoned location recently and recorded this frightening video.
Just watch this.
Isn't it? Future in hand.
430 abandoned flats, and there is something in the window.
Open. Yo. You see movement then? No. Move the light. Yo. Yo. What is that?
This creepy video shows a couple of friends venturing out to the abandoned town where they capture this. A creepy looking face peeking out from one of the abandoned buildings. Could this be something ghostly though? Or is it something much easier to explain? The Scared Mountain Inn is a public house in a small village somewhere in Wales, and is mainly a mid to late 17th century building in construction. An undocumented claim to fame for this building was that the first floor of the inn was reputedly used as a court of law, where capital punishment was imposed for certain offences. including but not limited to sheep stealing. Legend has it that as many as 180 criminals were found guilty for crimes serious enough to warrant the sentence of death by hanging, a sentence that was allegedly carried out in the inn itself, from an oak beam over the well of the staircase. Markings said to be from root marks still exist on the staircase wood to this day. The building has since been regarded as one of the most haunted in the country of Wales. Josh from the YouTube channel Exploring with Josh, along with his friends Dan, Steve and Seth, ventured out to the Scared Mountain Inn back in early March in hopes of communicating with whoever or whatever may occupy the building. What they captured terrified even myself.
Alright, next bit we want to try is, like we said, right here. We got the hanging rope.
To any spirits in the Scared Inn, if you know what happened here at this staircase, please come forward and tell us what you know. And tell us what you know. I hear moving behind you, bro.
Yeah, there's like a vibration.
Is there someone behind me?
I just heard a noise upstairs. Is there somebody upstairs?
Footsteps.
If that's you, can you come downstairs, please? We have some questions about this staircase, about this area. Was anybody hung in this area?
Is there someone behind me?
Me.
Is there somebody upstairs?
Whoa! Holy sh!
I'm gonna slow it down, watch this.
Is there someone behind me?
Yeah, 100% said me.
Is there somebody upstairs? Is that you?
Get out?
Get out or yes, dude.
Is there somebody upstairs?
Get
Oh
out!
my gosh. That wasn't me.
That's not us.
No.
That's not us.
Is there somebody down this hallway?
Oh, whoa, whoa! Whoa!
Holy
Oh my god!
What the?
Holy shit!
The sun just moved.
Look at how fast
Oh my
it's
gosh.
moving.
bro, no bullshit. It's as soon as you said something about this.
Yeah, as soon as I said, is there someone
And this went off.
Oh
my god, you can't.
Holy shit! No, that's a physical movement. That's poltergeist.
That's poltergeist activity.
That's poltergeist activity.
Either that or that's residual activity of somebody
Residual could be.
Damn it, I wasn't recording. There was just a huge bang from upstairs. I swear to God we heard it though.
The guys are shocked to see that the rope starts moving ever so slightly on its own, as if someone or something were moving or hanging from it. This video is one of the best I've seen in a while, and I highly recommend watching the full video. The Scared Mountain Inn appears to be highly active in all things paranormal. Check out the YouTube channel Exploring with Josh to see what else happened that night. I couldn't find the original source for this image, however, the picture has been for some time now circulating on the internet for its supposedly real paranormal aspect. It's been suggested by many that the figure in the background is something that wasn't there originally, and is thought to be an apparition of sorts. But then again, it could be nothing more than a staged picture for yet another one of those real ghost photo websites. What do you think? At the beginning of 2019, Armory security officer Alex Nunez, who had worked at the San Francisco Armory for over 5 years, captured, quote, a ghost opening the two main doors to the lounge in the Armory.
Oh, hell no. This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm here in this building by myself, bruh. By myself.
After hearing what sounded like chairs moving in the lounge area, Alex began recording on his phone. Alex stopped walking when he began to hear noises. He then captured the 2 doors opening inwards towards the lounge. He states that he was the only person in the armory when this occurred, and upon further inspection, all the windows and doors were shut and closed. The San Francisco Armory is a historical building in the Mission District in San Francisco, formerly Kink.com. Many people who have worked in the building have reported feeling spirits, both physically and emotionally, sights of apparitions, footsteps, and even heard voices. Ettington Park Hotel is a 19th century country house built in 1858. The historic Grade 1 listing building has been described by many as one of England's most haunted buildings. In the 1990s, a show aired in the UK called Out of This World. In one particular episode, a woman named Carol Vorderman travelled out to the now hotel in hopes of capturing something spooky. Although she didn't see or record anything scary, the TV show did feature a couple of scary stories from previous visitors of the hotel.
That's why I went to stay at Ettington Park Hotel, judged the most haunted hotel in the country. The plan was for Chris to go ahead of me to find out the ghostly history of the place.
Here at Ettington Park Hotel, they've lost count of how many times this book has mysteriously fallen from its shelf. It's always to be found open at the very same page. A merry place, 'tis said, in days of yore, but something ails it now. The place is cursed.
Part of the duties at night were to relay the fires in the library bar and the front door that you can see across there. And I started to relay the fire, clean it out for the next morning. And I just had this feeling that somebody or something was over my shoulder watching me. And I thought, well, shall I have a look or shan't I? I was in 50-50, or shall I have a look, a bit worried. And I thought, well, might as well. So I looked around from the fireplace, and coming down the main staircase was this lady. Now it was like a white mist, but there's a shape, definitely a shape of a person or a lady in this mist.
Robbie isn't the only one to claim to have seen the Grey Lady, as she's become known. Just a few weeks ago, a sighting was reported by the guest staying in this room, Mark Hellberg.
We weren't quite asleep, as I say, we were sleeping lightly, but it appeared, at one point, that we thought that there was light coming through the curtains, and I said to her, I'd get up and would close them. I went over to the curtains, and instead of, where there was a slight crack, instead of closing them, I opened them for some reason, and at that point I saw, what I believe was a woman. But after this, I went back, got into bed, and I said to my girlfriend, I think I've seen a ghost. And I got the usual, and rolled over and carried on going to sleep. And then sometime later, when I noticed a light coming over from the door, I felt myself drawn towards the door. There was no noise, no sound whatsoever, just this light. And as I say, as I moved towards the door, opened it, and there in front of me I saw the woman who I'd seen previously over the other side of the corridor. I was scared stiff at this time by the expression on her face.
Like any house that stood for nearly 1,000 years, Ettington has seen its share of human tragedy. In Victorian times, it's said 2 young children drowned here in the River Stour, which runs through the grounds. Over the years, it's claimed they've made several ghostly reappearances, most recently to a woman staying in the aptly named Stour Suite. She complained of children running up and down outside her room during the night.
Nobody's ever succeeded in recording a ghost on a video camera, but there seems to have been such a lot of activity here recently that we thought, well, we'll give it a go. And to help out, we've asked along somebody who knows nothing of the history of this place.
Chris has given me a map of the house showing the reportedly most active areas, and that's obviously where I'm going to concentrate my efforts through the night. And if I find anything, Hopefully I'll manage to record it on this. But of course, the rules are I have to do it by myself, so it's time for you to leave, chaps. Hello. It's, right. Just gone 1:30 in the morning. And, just, been woken up. And I'm off to, hunt ghosts. Right, this is where we are at the top of the main staircase.
Although she doesn't know it, Carol is now going down the staircase where it's said the Grey Lady is most often seen. It's claimed she's the ghost of a maid who was pushed down the stairs by the lady of the house and broke her back.
I'd say I feel lonely. I'm still not really happy, I suppose, about being alone in a part of a great big old house. Right, I just come into what's called the long gallery, and I'll try and find some light switches. A cold room, this. And I'm just sitting here, trying to get used to the noises.
Carol is now about to make her way down the back stairs. This will take her to some of the oldest parts of the hotel and the areas with the highest incidence of ghostly sightings. She's passing both Mark Hellberg's room and another suite, which is said to be haunted by a man who hanged himself from the rafters.
It's very gothic. I must admit, I do get spooked pretty easily. And this is part of this experiment, I suppose, in that I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. I'm now heading into another room called Chapel Room. Ooh, it's very, very cold in here. Of all the rooms that I've visited, I would say that this one has the most, what you might call, atmosphere. It's a very cold room, and I was given by Chris like a temperature sensor. It's got a digital readout at the front, and temperature has been fluctuating here between about 19.5 degrees C and about 18.
Your feelings about that particular room are quite interesting, because 300 years ago it said that children affected by the plague were brought there in some kind of attempt to cure them. So it's got a very sad history to it.
Well, that's quite interesting, because of all the rooms, I didn't feel particularly uneasy there. I felt quite safe, but I wasn't truly comfortable, I have to say.
You filmed first in the middle of the night and then again at dawn. Were there any differences between those two sessions?
It's remarkable how much more comfortable you feel when the light has come up outside. And I would have been quite happy to sit there every dawn, to be perfectly honest, but then I like that time of day. But still, the chapel room, even though the light was then coming through the windows, still it felt quite uneasy. I still wouldn't like to spend a lot of time there. As Chris said, the chapel at Ettington Park was used for child victims of the plague, many of whom must have died there. The room was surprisingly cold, and although I didn't see a ghost, there was definitely a physical change happening that I couldn't explain.
Despite this show being filmed over 20 years ago, the neo-Gothic building still attracts ghost hunters from all around the world to this day, hoping that their overnight stay will yield something scary that they can take with them for years.